last year when that's when Broncos were.
Last year, the Broncos were
Before
Super
last
Bowl.
year.
99 and 98.
CJ, put it away. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the man we've been waiting for. Here's Derek.
Elvis is in the building.
Yeah.
All right, guys. My name is Derek Getchell. I'm here today to talk to you guys and basically share my experience and what I went through growing up. I'm going to talk about decisions that I made, feelings that I felt, situations that happened in my life, whether it be decisions I made or things that happened with my family growing up. And really, I hope the brunt of my focus is going to be on the feelings and emotions that I went through that drove me to do what I did. Because not all of you guys are going to identify with the story of drug addiction. All right, most of you guys will never have to experience that. Some of you guys will. But the feelings and emotions that I talk about that lead me to do what I did, I think we're all human and we all have that common thing. We might think we're different, and a lot of us think like, I don't have to go through negative feelings, or I can deal with it on my own, or I never need help, or I want to act like nothing ever bothers me. But my experience has been that's not the case. We're all humans. We all want to be loved. We all want acceptance. We all want attention. We all want to be successful. We all have that drive, you know. And I'll just say, you know, the kinder you can be to one another and the positivity that you can bring to everybody is a big deal. And with that being said, I'm going to ask everybody to change their seats and sit next to someone that you usually don't sit next to. And I want you to shake their hand. I want you to introduce yourself. And I want you to say one thing about them that you like about them. All right, it has to be positive. Let's make this quick. Let's go. Chop, chop. Here we go. Let's go. Move. Let's go. Hey, you. Come on, let's go. Hey, you guys know each other. You guys know each other. You got to sit somewhere else. I know you know each other. Hey, you guys know each other? Yeah. All right. Don't say that. What if I said that to you guys? Did you say the same thing? Sit down. All right, let's go. Get seated. Let's go. Hey, the point I'm trying to make here is a big part of my life today is looking where I can be of service in a situation. What can I contribute to the day? When I was in high school, I had such a negative attitude when it came to being in the classroom. I loved playing sports. I loved chasing girls around. I loved partying. I should not have loved partying. It ended up ruining my life, all right? But I didn't wake up in the morning and come to the day and be like, hey, you know what? Let me bring something to health class. Let me be positive. Let me say hi to one of my classmates, you know, if someone's sitting by themselves or that doesn't know that many people. I wasn't positive. I wasn't bringing. I want to ask you guys, when you think about your parents or the person that's most important to you in your life, right? Like, do you think like, hey, what can I bring to my parents? Or what can my parents do for me? Just think about that for a couple seconds. Do you think what can I attribute to the classroom? Or do you think what can I take from the classroom? Oh, this teacher sucks, man. I don't want to listen to this teacher. This teacher's so boring. They don't even know what they're talking about. Because we're all 14 and 15 and 16 and 17 and 18, however old you guys are. And we know everything, right? You got all the answers. I know I did when I was in high school. I knew everything, right? I'm 14, 15. I don't need to be taught anything. I have all the answers. Or do you take the approach to that classroom like, hey, I'm going to listen. I'm going to ask good questions. I'm going to be attentive. I'm going to be positive. All right, and I'm going to bring something. One of the biggest regrets I have in high school is talking when the teacher was talking. I'm being serious. He's not paying me to say this. I'm being serious because I was a terrible student. All right? And just because I was a terrible student, I didn't have the right to disrupt the classroom for the students that wanted to learn. There's this one girl, I don't even know her name, but I can only imagine what she thought of me. She's probably at MIT right now. No, I'm 30, so she probably graduated from MIT 8 years ago. She's probably like going to be a president eventually, but she was so smart. And I used to always be talking, disrupting the class. Derek, shut up. Derek, don't talk. Derek, you're disrupting the class. What right did I have to disrupt the learning of that classroom? You know what I'm saying? I never looked at it from that perspective when I was a kid. I'm like, hey, I'm just trying to have fun. Just trying to enjoy myself, teach. You know, what's your problem? You know, I just want to have a good time, right? Did anyone wake up this morning saying, hey, what can I bring to the day? I can't wait to take on today. Today's going to be a great day. I'm going to learn something today. Anybody? Jesus Christ, someone participate. Why doesn't anyone want to participate? You're nervous, right? I don't want to raise my hand. I'm nervous, I'm afraid of public speaking. I don't want to ask a stupid question. If I ask a stupid question, so-and-so are going to be at their locker telling everybody in the hallway what a dumb question I asked in health class, and then people aren't going to like me. That's usually why we have fear of public speaking. At the bottom of it, you guys get nervous before you have to give a presentation? Anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah? Right? Why do you think you get nervous?
You don't want to mess up.
Because it's not good enough.
Exactly. Draw it to the root cause, because we always have the surface level problem. There's always the surface level problem. I don't want a mistake. I don't want to make a mistake. Ask why. What's underneath that? I don't want to sound stupid. I don't want to mess up. Why do you care about messing up or not messing up? Think about it. Come on, get active. Let's go.
Because you care what people think of us.
You care what people think of you. Correct. And what do you want people to think of you? Positive things, right? And so why do we care what people think about us? And I'm not saying, like, I care what people think about me today because I want to be a good person. I want to be liked. I still do care about that stuff, right? But it's not the end-all, be-all, you know? I remember I used to always want to play so good in the game, right? So the girl I liked would like me. I thought I was way more important than I was. Self-centeredness they talk about. We all think we're magnified, you know? One of the greatest piece of advice that someone gave me before you public speak, they said, Derek, half the audience isn't even listening to you. Half the people aren't even listening, right? And you're not that important. He goes, you're not that important. You know, not in a bad way, not in a negative way, but hey, don't take yourself so serious. You know, everyone's not going to be going, hey, did you hear what he said, hear what they said? Up, down the line. Back to your original question. Why do you care what people think about you? What happens if they don't? What happens if it goes bad in your own mind? Come on. There's 75 of you guys in here, roughly.
You assume that they would think less of you.
Okay, so what's the impact on you? If they think less of you, what happens to your peace of mind? Because it all traces back to us, whether you believe it or not. Hey, and you can make some money, listen to what I'm saying. I'm not talking about money, but I'm talking about peace of mind money. Make money that way. Up here. Peace of mind is something I value more than anything in the world today. And I didn't have it for a large chunk of my life. Why do you care? What's the impact on you?
Probably make you feel bad.
You make you feel bad, right? So really, what are we saying when that happens? How does it go full circle? My peace of mind is determined on what you think of me, on what you think of me, on what you think of me, on what you think of me. You should have seen me last class. I was trying to tell my stories from 15 years ago. I was stumbling, bumbling. I mean, I sounded like an idiot. These guys said I didn't, but I did. I couldn't tell my story because it's been so long ago. And then I'm going, oh, these kids probably think I'm so stupid, I'm failing. This is all the negative thoughts going through my head. But if I ask you a question, what gives you peace of mind? What determines whether or not what you feel good on the inside? What are the factors that determine that? You. Don't be shy.
I don't know.
Bull, you want to go? You go. Fine. No. You. What gives you peace of mind? If I ask you, everyone come up with 3 things right now. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. What determines whether or not you have peace of mind?
The things that you love.
Okay, things that you love. Okay, what are they?
Like your family.
Okay, family. Sports.
Girls.
Girls. You want to go?
Sure, why not? Friends?
Friends. All right, good.
Confidence.
Confidence. Okay, now we're starting. So the first 4 or 5 things were all outside things. Okay, all outside things. What? Family. How my family acts makes me happy. What people think of me makes me happy. Sports make me happy. Now I'm not saying this. That's all good stuff to fill us up and make us happy, right? But if our peace of mind is solely determined on outside things making us happy, do you think that's always healthy? No, why not? Who said? I didn't even know whose answer.
You have to focus on like other things.
Yeah, like how about like being happy with you without all that stuff, right?
You control the other stuff.
Yeah, because you can't control what your family does all the time. Eventually, sports are going to be gone. All right. Eventually, friends, you guys all split up and go away to college, right? What feels good on the inside? And it brings back to the point. What gives me peace of mind and gratitude today is me looking to be of service to others, right? I played football, I wrestled, I played baseball, right? And I was a good teammate and I worked hard, but I wish I had a more attitude of giving. You know, what can I bring to the situation with my family? What can I bring to the situation? You know? And I wish I didn't care so much about what other people thought of me. Like, it's not healthy to fear what other people think of you. Because if my peace of mind is determined on whether or not I have acceptance from others, I don't know. That's not a very stable foundation. So if I get nervous about speaking, trace it. The point I'm trying to make is trace it back to the root cause. Most of the root cause is some type of fear, right? Some type of self-centeredness. I think I'm more important than I am. I used to get in the box and I'd be like, I hope I don't strike out sometimes. Cute girl in the stands, girl that I like in the stands. Or I dropped the fly ball. Right out one time, it was brutal. I was playing left field, right? And I'm like, the thing went up this way. I take 2 steps to the left. I freaking fall once, right? I get back up. I fall again. And then the ball lands to the right of me. And I'm like, oh man, everyone's going to think I'm an idiot. You know, everyone's going to be talking about this at school tomorrow. Hey, I wasn't that important in the first place. And guess what? Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, right? But I would live and have emotional unmanageability from making those mistakes. Be like, oh shit, so-and-so is going to tell that person I look like an idiot because my peace of mind was determined on outside things. Does that make sense? So start looking within when it comes to peace of mind. And I love all that outside stuff. I coach football today. You know what I'm saying? I'm back in school today. I date today. I like those outside things, but they are not the foundation of my peace of mind, okay? And let me tell you something. One of the best advice people ever give me. Your outer world is nothing but a reflection of your inner thoughts. Think about that. Your outer world is nothing but a reflection of your inner thoughts. How you think determines how you see the world. All right? If I'm full of fear up here, which I was the last period, it's horrible. Oh, what do these people think about me? I don't want to sound stupid. I don't want to sound stupid. I don't want to sound stupid. You know? What I wrote down in between this break was be honest and be yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I just took a couple deep breaths. I breathe in with peace, I breathe out with fear. That helps me get centered. That helps me get peace of mind. Breathe in with peace, breathe out with fear. In with positivity, out with negativity. All right? And just be yourself. All right? You got to be myself. And that has helped me get peace of mind. And here's the thing, like, I'm not very spiritual or religious, but I used to go to church and I'd say the Lord's Prayer. I'd go to CCD and they'd say, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We all know that. I don't know if some of you guys know it or not, but you heard that prayer? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, your kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Does anyone know that? Yes. What does thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven mean to you? Somebody. What does that mean to you? Anybody?
Be good to
Come on, man. What do you got? Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't know? What do you think it could possibly mean?
Wait, what was the question?
Thy, there you go. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. What does that mean to you?
Like, what you do here will, like, be like what you're gonna, like, what's gonna happen to you, like, when you die or something?
That's what I used to think for a lot of years. And this guy is one of the life-changing moments, right? He says, Derek, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven means this, right? And I'm not church. I'm not trying to be a preacher up here, believe me. This is like spiritual kindergarten, all right? He says, heaven isn't a destination, and earth and heaven aren't two different destinations. He said, heaven is your thinking and your soul. Earth is your perspective, how you view the world, how you see. So thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. If heaven is full of resentment, fear, self-pity, negative, detrimental thinking, okay, then earth is an ugly place. If heaven is void of fear, right, my thinking, if heaven is void of fear, void of resentment, do we know what resentment is? Mr. Arch is a jerk. He took my coffee away, and I was so thirsty, and how dare he, right? So he's a jerk because he took my coffee away, even though I'm not supposed to have coffee in class, right? But my flawed thinking as a kid, I'm going, he's a jerk. He won't let me drink my coffee. You know, I get mad at him. Then when I'm mad at him, it turns into self-pity. Poor me. Poor me. I didn't get my own way. Boo-hoo. We all do it. We're human. We all do it. We all have that thing going on. When things don't go our way, I want to control everything, right? And then what happens is if that negative thinking goes on for long enough, your outer world can become a real ugly place. Right? And that's basically the story of my life without even including drugs and alcohol. Okay, but I just want to get that off my chest right there, because that type of practice, and I was a football player and a wrestler, right? So if I wanted to be good at that stuff, or if you play guitar, whatever it is you're passionate about, what you want to be good at, what do you usually have to do to be good at something? Practice, right? Practice, right? I had to take the same attitude I had towards lifting weights, okay? Towards watching film, right? I love watching film, right? I love, hey, what defense are they in? 3-4, 4-3, all this stuff. I love it. I got to practice that if I want to be a good coach. If I want to think positively, and I'm telling you, thinking is the most important thing in your life. If you want to have positive thinking, it's something you have to practice. Some of you guys actually might be lucky enough, you're just so naturally positive and great people, maybe you don't have to practice it. But for someone like me, I had to practice it. And when I practiced it, it changed my life. It changed my life to the point so much that I was a hopeless IV drug user that I never had to go back to using drugs again. And after I tell you all the BS story, all the crap, all the consequences I paid from drug addiction, I realized the root cause of my problem from a young age was negative thinking and the inability to control things that were out of my control. I don't even know if that makes any sense. I didn't know. Does that make sense? Does that even make sense? No. I got a rule too. You got to laugh at my jokes. All right? You guys didn't laugh. That was a joke. Not funny. Okay. All right. So I'm here to talk about opiates and my story and my experience, all right? I want to make a point clear. I never had the intention of becoming a drug addict or an alcoholic. When I started drinking, my goal was not to ruin my life and to get so hopelessly addicted to something I lost everything. That was not my goal. That was not my intention. That is not anyone's intention when they start. So when you think you're making innocent decisions, I'm just going out to have fun. Oh, I'm just going to do it once. You know, crackheads don't start off looking like crackheads. Okay, they don't. They start off looking like you. They start off looking like me. Okay, they start off looking like everybody else. All right, they make the bad decision and they pay the consequence. Okay, bad decisions always have consequences. Sometimes they happen right away. Sometimes they don't happen for 10 years. I never got arrested once. Okay, and I illegally drank and drugged from age 14 roughly to 24. And I didn't get arrested until I was 24. I caught heroin on a daily basis, all right, and I never once got arrested. I was lucky. I didn't have to pay the consequences. When I got pulled over for DUIs when I was in high school, right, the cop said, how much have you had to drink? I said, I haven't been drinking, sir. He goes, you're either a liar. I can't say the other part of that statement. He goes, you know, he let me go. Okay, he let me go. I got caught with a fake ID in high school, just like my mom always used to tell me. You're going to get in trouble. You're going to lose your sports. You're going to pay for this someday. Mom, I'm all right. I know I'll be fine. I'm not going to get caught. I'm different. The difference between me and someone that got suspended or someone that got written up in the paper or someone that's serving 2.5 years, maybe more, in prison that killed somebody when they were drinking and driving or drugging and driving, all right, is they didn't get caught. And when I got in a bad car accident, I either hit a telephone pole or I hit a flatbed tow truck instead of a minivan. I swerved off the road, all right? I went across the yellow line because I overdosed, went completely limp, and what I ended up running into was one of those flatbed tow trucks, and I hit the back end of it. If that was a minivan with kids buckled up in the back seat, I'd be probably wrapping up a 2.5 to 3 year sentence in the Dedham House of Correction right now, right? With a lot less opportunity in my life, all right? The first couple times, okay, I got offered a drug, my original response was no. 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 Not a good idea, right? And then what happened is I eventually did it, right? Because I didn't like how I felt. My life in my normal state was not good enough for me to just be me, all right? I had to add something to the party, right? And I did a line of cocaine. It was a terrible decision. Talk about healthy home environments. I hope all of you have them. I hope all of you have them because everyone deserves a healthy home environment. I took that for granted when I was a kid. Okay, for most of my life, my home was healthy. All right, my parents split up when I was 16. Okay, and I moved in with my dad when I was 18 because he said, "Hey, you can have the basement. You can have the whole basement to yourself." So I was like a big tough guy. I'm like, "Sweet, I'm gonna have an apartment. I can have people over and be the man," you know. And I lived in an unhealthy environment from 18 to 24. My dad was an IV drug user, all right, addicted to heroin. He was probably trying to stop here and there. He went on the methadone clinic once in a while, but it was not a healthy environment, right? And when you don't live in a healthy environment, you get stuck on stupid, okay? And what I mean by that is the information I was getting from someone who was supposed to be leading me in life, okay, was not very good, all right? And I love my dad. I don't blame him for what I did. I know today I made the consequences, all right? And if, I'm not going to start that now. And then my brother, okay, who was also a great kid, far nicer kid than I ever will be. He very rarely was mean to anybody. He was kind to everybody. Everybody liked him. He hasn't been able to get out of his drug addiction yet. He's still stuck in it. I lived with him, and he started doing painkillers, okay, opiates, painkillers, all right? And for the first 6 months of me living there, I didn't even touch any of this stuff. My dad was an active heroin addict. My brother was selling pills and doing pills. And the kids he was hanging out with, I liked them all, but I knew. I go, they were a little bit older than me. I go, these are kids he should not be hanging out with, right? And there's a saying, if you hang out in a barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut. If you hang out in a barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut, right? Now, my barbershop at that point was my home. It was an unhealthy place. I wish at that time that I reached out for help, was honest with an aunt or an uncle about how I felt and the environment that I was in, and I wish I had changed directions, right? I wish when my coach said, Derek, you want to go down south, we'll get you into a junior college, you can play football, get your grades up, and get accepted into a school, because I got declined at every single school I applied to. No, I want to stay home, because I was uncomfortable. I was fearful of going away to college. I was fearful of leaving both my parents were townies. I was fearful of reaching out. There's going to be situations where you're going to be put in a barbershop. And at the beginning, it might just be weed. It might just be this. It might just be this. But they're going to be unhealthy situations. You got the choice, right, to get the hell out of those situations, all right? Those environments will not foster positivity in your life, okay? They will not, all right? And if you are in an unhealthy home life, it may not be to the same degree that I had to go through when my dad was in active heroin addiction. But there might be some bad things going on. Some things might be changing in your house. They might be going through a divorce, or they might not be talking, or one of your brothers or sisters or cousins might be having a problem, substance abuse or not. And you don't like what it's doing in your home environment, talk about it with someone and ask for help. Do not be ashamed to reach out and ask for help. Okay? It is not a sign of weakness to ask for help. I ask for help every single day. Okay? And asking for help has allowed me to actually get sober and to move on with my life. All right, so you guys got me there? You following me? It's not a sign of weakness to ask for help. And I ended up taking those substances, and I fell right in with the rest of them. And this is what every punk says. This is the self-centeredness of my thinking. I won't be as weak as my dad. I'm just going to do these perks here and there. I won't be as weak as that kid because I'm tougher than him and I'm different, so I can handle doing these drugs. Right? I won't end up being as bad as him. Lie, 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 lie. When you mess with hard drugs, opiates, coke, crack, all these things, heroin,
Benzos.
okay, benzos, especially benzos, whether they're Klonopin or Valium, and some people are prescribed them for anxiety, right? But there's some people you think, oh, hey, it's just a little green pill, right? A doctor, it came from a doctor. It's in a doctor. It's in a prescription bottle. It can't be that bad. I'm telling you right now, there's not a big difference between a prescription bottle and the opiates and the painkillers and the benzos than there are but if you're copping drugs on the street corner and the guy's giving you a bag of heroin or a bag of crack. I'm telling you right now. The difference between prescription medication and heroin is very little. All right, and there's a misconception out there. Someone used to say, I used to say, hey, I'm just doing perks. I'm not like that guy who's doing heroin now. Right? The difference between me and him was he started doing perks a year before I did. He was far more in his progression, and he was already on the heroin. And people on the outside, it's just heroin. They hear the word heroin, they're like, maybe not so much anymore because there's so much awareness, but this is like 10, 15 years ago I'm talking now. Oh my God, heroin? If you said you were addicted to OxyContin, they call the kid, heroin, oh my God. They both have opiates in them. You take them, they're both going to take you to the same place, all right? So be aware when you're getting prescription medication that it is addictive. All right, people do get addicted to them. All right, and there's consequences to be paid when that happens. what opiates do to the body, all right, is they're supposed to be a painkiller, right? And I'll give you a brief history real quick. I read like one chapter in a book. And I read a whole book about this, but the history part was like one chapter, so I'm not like a historian on this. I want to sound like I'm a historian on the history of opiates, but in the late 1800s, right, they used to give heroin to people. Bayer used to prescribe heroin. Bayer aspirin used to give heroin to people, right, for their pain. Then they go, wow, they're like, people are getting hooked on this stuff. Right? We can't do this anymore. So the medical community as a whole said, we're not giving people opiates. They were treating it for like people who were on their deathbed. That's the only thing they were giving it out for. Then in the 70s came around, all right, they started treating pain as a fifth vital sign. And while all this is going on, the medical community, right, whether it be the pharmaceutical companies or the doctors or their efforts combined, right, is trying to find a magic pill. Where can we find a painkiller that isn't addictive but will still treat the pain? Because they couldn't find a non-addictive opiate, right? So then they start treating pain as a fifth vital sign, right? And they're giving it more and more and more. And then it got to the point where if you got your wisdom teeth out, here's some perms. Oh, you have a bad back? OxyContin. And what happened, there was this company, Purdue Pharma, okay, and really those people should all, be serving long jail sentences for murder because thousands and thousands and thousands of people have died as a result of this. They started to falsely market and advertise, all right, just like that vape crap. They started to falsely market and advertise their painkillers as non-addictive. They said, this is the magic pill right here, OxyContin, all right? It's one of the most addictive painkillers I've ever taken. This is non-addictive. People can take them, okay, and they won't get addicted. All right, so people started prescribing them for everything in mass quantities. And what you started to see was a lot of people getting addicted to a substance that doctors thought they were prescribing to people that wasn't addictive. 10 years later, they sued them for like $6.8 billion, and now you guys see on the news the opiate epidemic? Anybody? You guys talk about it in class? No? You guys listen? Is anybody listening right now? Anyone got any questions? No? All right.
I do.
What's
was
up?
the first drug you took?
First drug I took was alcohol.
At what age?
14.
How'd you get it?
My friend's dad's fridge. And we split the beer 3 ways. Hey, this is cool, this is fun. Wasn't really that cool, wasn't fun in hindsight. No one's ever said, Derek, I love it when you drink. No girl's ever said, Derek, I like you more when you drink. No coaches ever said, Derek, you're a better athlete when you drink. No teachers ever said, Derek, you do better in school when you drink.
How old were you when you first took heroin?
When I first took heroin,
Yeah, like the first time.
roughly 22, 23. When I first started messing with perks, probably 20, 21.
Why would you want? Sorry.
What's your thoughts and opinions on vape?
I don't have any. They're just probably trying to scam you. People trying to make money. Hey, smoke this. Doesn't smell. I don't know.
Eric, what solution were drugs and alcohol providing for you?
At the
Why did you see
beginning,
that as a solution?
drugs and alcohol were making me feel good on the inside, or I thought they were. All right.
Because
What I talked about earlier, right? Outside things make me happy, right? They fill the void on the inside if I don't like how I feel without those things. So at the beginning, I'm taking these opiate painkillers, right? And what they do in your body is they go onto your receptors and they give you this false sense of security and euphoria. And the reason why it's false, all right, is as you continue to take them, all right, it stops working. Your body becomes immune to them. You guys drink coffee? You start out drinking coffee, you're like, whoa. Then after a while, you have 2 or 3 cups throughout the day, and you're not getting the same jump from it. Same thing with Red Bull, all that stuff. So what at the beginning, they're starting to make me feel good, right? And as you keep taking them, I develop addiction to them, right? And now I need 10 times the amount to make me feel what I was originally trying to feel. And eventually, the pain and the emotional feelings that I was going through that I didn't like, that they were blocking, they stopped working. They completely stop working. And they call it bottoming out, or the jumping off point. You always hear, you gotta hit bottom. When hitting bottom is essentially when you're taking drugs and alcohol to make you feel better, right? and they don't make you feel better anymore. But when you stop taking them, you're so addicted to them that your mind is so warped that your mind, the only thing your mind can do is tell you to go back to those things because that's what supposedly makes you happy. You know, it's a lie. It's a lie. Just like I told myself, hey, I need a girlfriend to be happy. I need to be playing sports to be happy. I need to be coaching to be happy. I need all these outside things. Today, I don't need those things. All right, I'm happy with me. I still have those healthy outside things, and they're part of my life. They contribute to my happiness, but they're not the total source of it. Does that answer the question? Yeah. So that's what happened with the painkillers, right? So there's tons of kids, right? And this is how it all went down. When I used to think junkie, I used to curse my dad died of heroin addiction in 2009. He died. I was 23 years old. Okay? He was the best dad in the world growing up. My family was very wholesome growing up. We went to sporting events together. Okay? My mother was a great cook. She always had dinner Sunday morning. She'd make everything. The faithful were all talking. There's a lot of life in my house. Felt like we were going somewhere as a family. I'm 15 years old, right? And everything starts to change. Everything starts to change. And it's like the rug just got pulled completely from underneath me. I knew one way of life, right? Because that's the only way I had ever lived. Like most of you guys. You only know, like, right? And I'm not talking, you guys probably saw some really smart people in here. I'm not saying this in a way to talk down to you, but you only know this much. Because that's all you've lived. You know, get up, go to school, you know, make sure you got lunch money, you know, make sure you get the bus home, you know, do your homework, a lot of this stuff. But as you get older, you start to see more and more and more of the world, and you start to have more of an understanding. So I only knew a happy and wholesome home. And what happens is my father relapsed on drugs. All right? And I had no idea he even had a problem because my parents didn't talk about it. And whether they talked about it or not, would that have changed me? I don't know. But it used to be a moral issue. It used to be something, dude, don't tell anybody. Ooh. And that's how a lot of us react when something goes wrong in our lives. We're like, oh, I don't want anyone to find out. I hope no one finds out my parents are getting divorced. Or I don't want people to know that this is going on or this is going on. We all have problems, okay? We all have problems. Your problems are not unique. They're not. Every single person, right, has gone through probably the same emotions and feelings that you're going through. Other people don't have moms and dads. Other people have moms and dads in jail. Other people have people who are addicted to drugs and alcohol. All right, so if you're going through any problems, ask for help. Where I made my mistakes in high school was I didn't ask for help. My mother used to say, Derek, go to counseling, right? And I'd say, I don't need to go to counseling. You know, I'm tough. I don't need help with this. My father, think about this. I'm a 16-year-old kid, right? My father is turning into drug addiction. My mother's always pissed off now. She's miserable because she's pissed off at him, okay? And I'm a 16-year-old kid just trying to kind of live my life, and all this negativity is going around me, but I'm like, I don't need help, because I used to think that's what guys did. Guys don't let feelings and emotions get to them. They don't have to admit they have fear, you know? Quick question. Where does courage come from? Courage. Who would here would be proud to be like, hey, that is a courageous person? Raise your hand if you would like to be branded as a courageous person. People who don't have their hands up, why would you not want to be branded that? Or you're just not participating? It's cool if you don't want to participate. Why? All right. Where does that courage come from? Think about it. Pretty smart kid back there. Where does courage come from?
Maybe when other people let you know that you do courageous things.
Why does it have to come from other people?
It doesn't have to, but maybe that's where it starts.
Tell you where. It comes from overcoming fear. It comes from walking through your fears. Accepting that you have fears and not letting your fears break you down to the point where you can't operate anymore. So the word courage, if you thought of the word fear, who would like to be branded as someone who is a fearful person? It comes from fear. Realizing you have it, right? Walking through it, and on the other end, you come out courageous. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah? So I got all this stuff going on. I don't want to admit it. I don't want to ask for help. And now, meanwhile, in my own life, I'm starting to drink more and more, right? And I'm going, oh, I'm just having fun. I'm just drinking. I'm a 16-year-old kid that's just drinking 4 times a week, right? And it's built into my social life. I don't know how to have fun without drugs and alcohol. If you're in that boat, please ask for help right now. There are so many other ways in life to have fun besides partying on the weekends and getting hammered. Do positive, productive things. I swear to God, you will not regret it. All right, you will regret getting a DUI. You will regret having a hangover. You will regret all these things. Maybe not right away, but eventually. All right, and some of you guys might be saying, he's full of shit. But one day you're going to wake up and go, oh my God, maybe you won't, maybe you will. I remember what that guy was saying about regretting these decisions because they come with consequences. So now I'm doing more and more. I'm playing sports. Thank God I played sports because it kept me around healthy people in a positive environment, right? And it kept me busy. I spent a lot of time on the wrestling mat, on the football field, in the weight room, on the baseball field. So I stayed away from a lot of trouble. In my mind, I'm not doing drugs. I stayed away from the drug crowd. I just drink, right? I just drink. I'm 14, 15. I just drink. Drinking more and more. Then I start, when I drink, I can't control the amount I take. And people would say, like, it's Getch. He's just drunk tonight. He's just drunk. You know, when I started acting like an idiot, or I'd get in a fight, or I'd just get overly emotional about something, right? That's when I would usually admit to people what was going on in my household bothered me. When I was hammered, middle of the night, I'd start crying, like, what's going on in my family, you know? Because I couldn't deal with it without any of these added substances. Then I get to college, right? And I end up going from playing 3 sports all the time to having a girlfriend with me to always having something else to make me feel good. And I'm at UMass Dartmouth. I didn't get in right away. I went to Massasoit for a semester. And this was one of the loneliest times of my life. I was going to Massasoit, and I wasn't playing sports. And I was actually going to Massasoit and going to get licensure for my EMT. Right? So I had like a twofold plan. Maybe I'll do the college thing. If not, I'll be an EMT fireman. But when I was alone at night, there was no girl there. Right? There was no sports. I felt alone on the inside. I'm going, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? Because I don't want to feel this way. I want to be thriving. I want to be living life like I did for most of my childhood. But as I got older, my feelings and emotions got worse. My thinking got worse. My perspective got worse, right? I was filled up with all this resentment at my dad for abandoning my family, right? I had a lot of pity for myself and for my mother because she had to move and we lost our house and the whole 9 yards. I felt different than other families. Right? I felt weak, right? And then Jess is away at college, and my self-esteem and validation come through an outside source with her. Now I'm jealous. Oh, what's she doing? Right? Everybody gets jealous. It's a sign of fear, you know? Oh, what if I'm not good enough for her? What if this? What if that? Because my peace of mind is determined from outside things. Again, I'll keep going back to that. So I have this unmanageable life. And it's not just because of drugs and alcohol. A lot of it has to do with my thinking and my perspective, all right? So I start drinking more and more and more and more. I'm getting vicious hangovers. I'm barely going to class. I took one class. I couldn't even barely read what was on the paper. I was so drunk. And I'm sleeping in. I'm still depressed. I got no way out. I go back home. And because I failed out. And I was in the barber shop. But for a while, all right, I wasn't messing with any of that crap. All right? I was going to school. I started coaching football again. I went back to what was comfortable. I go, hey, I love sports. Let me go. I'm not playing them right now. Let me go get involved. I got A's and B's for like 2 semesters. I was coaching. Things were going good. I was exercising again. And then, all right, one of those moments that happens, all right, is I'm at a family party, all right, and we're having a couple of beers. I'm probably over 21 now. And someone with a little bag goes, hey, you want a couple of these? And there's a little plastic bag. Oh, no, I don't mess with pills. I don't mess with pills. And it was someone who I liked and respected, right? So, hey, if they got them, they can't be that bad. He goes, I just had a dental surgery. They can't be that bad for you, right? I go, fine. He goes, everybody likes them. I go, fine, I'll take a couple. What's the big deal? Literally, as casually as that. That is a life-changing moment. Someone who I respect, right? Someone who I'm comfortable with is taking them. I can take them, okay? I take 2 of them. I have a couple beers, right? It's the biggest lie I ever told myself. I said, this is it, all right? This is the magic recipe. I'm not going to get hammered. I'm not going to call my ex-girlfriend drunk on the phone. I'm not going to get in any fistfights. I'm not going to wake up with a hangover, right? I had 2 of them. I felt good. My emotions were quieted, right? Because that's what they do. They lie to you. Happy pills. They're not happy for long, let me tell you that, right? They feel good for a couple. Biggest lie I ever told myself is I'll just do them. Now I go, okay, I'm just going to take 1 or 2. I'm just going to take, now I'm doing them once or twice a week, right? Then as it continues to progress, 3 or 4 months later, now I'm taking 4 or 5 a week. My body's starting to need them more and more. I don't know this as it's going on, right? This has just become a part of my routine. now I'm starting to, instead of getting them for free that night, now I'm starting to have to seek them. Because now, when I don't have them in my system, what do you think my brain's telling me when they're not in my system? You drink coffee, right? And then you stop drinking coffee. Coffee's a drug, not to the same extent it is with opiates. What do you think your body's going to do? Need it, right?
About 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Your body's going to need it. So when I start taking them, I start to feel uncomfortable again. Those same emotions start to crop up again. All right? So I go back to them. And then I find out when now I'm spending like $80 a day. I need them every day. I need them just like I need oxygen. All right? And when I stop taking them, I hate how I feel, so I keep going back to the well. Believe in the lie. Believe in the lie. These drugs are going to fix me, or they'll make me feel better, or I'll quit tomorrow. All right? And it basically led me to a path, lost everything, was living a double life, lost my girlfriend, lost my self-esteem, lost my self-respect, started robbing and stealing from my family or other people. Okay, started putting myself in situations with drug dealers I should not have been in. All right? Got in a bad car accident, got life flighted, almost lost my life. And I was in the hospital bed, and I was just begging, Mom, let me go home and use one more time. Right? I literally almost lost my arm, almost lost hair. I got taken in the helicopter. All right? And I go, let me just go home and use one more time, and then I'll go to rehab. I swear to God, let me go use one more time. That is the power of these drugs. That is what they can do to your mind. Okay? And I'll tell you what, that's the power of negative thinking if it goes on long enough untreated. Some of you guys might be negative thinkers, and you might never get to the depths of my addiction, but you will pay the consequences, all right, in your daily life, in your relationships, in the quality of life you can live. I end up in rehab, okay? And I ended up staying for 6 months. And there had been many rehabs over the course of my addiction that I went into and walked out of. I can do it on my own. I don't need help. You know, I can do it on my own. I'll fix it. And at this rehab, I started to get counseling. All right? I started to get advice. I started to get advice on how to live my life in a healthy way. And when I wanted to use, there was people around that I could talk to about. All right, there's people around that I could talk to. All right, so I could get help. Once again, ask for help. And when I really realized, at this point in my life, most of what I'm telling you is all hindsight in reflection from this moment on, is I got a week left in that rehab, okay? And when I first started working at the rehab, it's in downtown, the rehab is in Dorchester, okay? I got a front desk job at a gym, okay, and down in the financial district. Now I'm 24 years old. I probably still got track marks on my arm. I have no self-esteem, all right, and I'm working in the financial district. There's these beautiful girls coming in dressed to the nines, all right? And I'm going behind the desk. I feel like this. I'm like this big. I'm going, I got no chance with these girls. They probably think I'm a loser. All this negative self-talk. I got no chance. So I'm scanning the card. I was a front desk guy, you know? Scanning the card. I'm going, oh no. I go, they think I'm an idiot. They think, finally my boss is like, dude, but I didn't know how to talk to people. I didn't know how to interact with people. I was shy. I was full of fear without the drugs in me, right? My boss goes, dude, you're at the front desk. He's like, you got to greet these people. You got to smile. So finally I'm like, yeah, I'm like, hi. Like, still scared as hell. I'm like, hey, what's going on? You know? Still have that negative thought, fear of what other people think about me. Like 3 or 4 months in, I've been lifting weights. I've been counseling. I'm staying clean. I start to get a little confidence. I'm not thinking about drugs or alcohol anymore. And then there's this girl, Kerry, that I had the hots for the whole time I'm working at this gym. All right? She's on the treadmill, and I'm walking by, and I'm going back to the front desk, and I hit her speed up a couple notches, you know? It's like a 6th grade way to flirt, but I was a little bit behind emotionally. So I hit the speed up a couple notches, and I keep walking, so she starts laughing. So on her way out, she's like, hey, what are you up to this weekend? You know, she's like got a full-time job. I live in rehab, and I got 2 weeks left in the rehab. I'm like, not too much. And they gotta go?
No. 2 minutes. We got advisory next. Give a.
All right, so basically, I'm like, yeah, I got not too much going on. What am I going to tell her? Like, yeah, I got to go to rehab. I'm going back to my halfway house. You know, tonight I'm on bathroom duty. Then I got relapse prevention class and anger management counseling. I got this and I got that. All right? So I'm like, I can't tell her the truth because fearful of what she's thinking of me. Right? So I start the relationship off with the lie. All right? And then leaving that rehab, right, I started making decisions on trying to get her to like me rather than staying focused on my recovery. When you leave a rehab, you're supposed to stay focused on recovery, on positive, healthy things. Now my focus starts to go on her. I'm starting to reach for outside things again to make me happy, right? What if she doesn't like me? I got to get a better job because this $8 an hour behind the front desk, I can't take her out to dinner. And if I can't impress her, I'm going to be alone again, right? And my peace of mind comes from outside things. So I take a job I got no business taking. I take a sales job that's straight commission, which means if you don't make sales, you don't get paid. So now I'm starting to be full of financial fear. Now I'm starting to be worried again. Now I start to have all these unmanageable emotions, all right? And what do you think I did? Drugs. So my problem was up here. The guy said to me, it changed my life. Derek, the root of your problem is not drugs and alcohol. You cannot blame the problem you had at 8 months sobriety on drugs and alcohol. He goes, your thinking is the problem. All right? I hope that was useful to you guys. I appreciate your participation and attention. Have a great day.
Thank you.